What's going on, everybody? Gentleman94 here. Welcome back to Ben Builds. This is episode number 2 here for the Spiffy Tiffy Buddy build, and today we are jumping right back on Photo Etched. So let's take a look. Now, last episode we did a lot of Photo Etched. This episode we're going to do a lot more. We have all these levers we need to install here on the instrument panel, and these are super tiny. I'm going to go ahead and give them a shot, and we're going to see if we can actually get them on the instrument panel. There are little slots that we need to go ahead and fit the levers through, bend them down and glue them. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's go ahead and try it, take a look at what we have. As you can see here, there are white levers and black levers. I've actually cut one of them out. Let me zoom in for you here. I actually cut one of them out and immediately lost it, so that doesn't bode well. But I do have 2 more, and they're only really needing 2 of the black levers and 2 of the white levers. So let's go ahead and try them out again and see what we have. Now, I'm going to use my hobby knife, and we're just going to get this, and we're just going to push down kind of on the connection point. And we'll see if we can't separate this lever here. I don't know if I like these levers. I mean, they're cool, but I don't know. We'll have to see how it looks when I actually get it on the instrument panel. The first one didn't go so well, to be honest. It just did not go well at all. So this is it cut out here. As you can see, it's very tiny. And we fold the top part over on itself, and that gives us a 3D lever effect. So that's neat. That's cool. I like it. But you can see how small it is. Can you imagine dropping one of these things? You lose it almost instantly. I've done that once before, at least so far. And look, I just did it again. Oh, there it is. So at least I can find it right away. But you can see how small this lever is. I don't know. We'll try to put it through and we'll see what it looks like, because we can just do what we can do. So we should be able to fit it straight down through, and I'll bend the tab over, and that'll give us basically the lever hooked in there. I don't like it. I mean, to be honest, you can barely see it. It looks like a little black blob there on the instrument panel. I don't know if I like the look, to be honest. But you know what? Let's put it aside for now. I'll think about it. We'll come back a little bit later. So instead of doing the instrument panel first, I thought we'd try something a little bit easier. And this is a side panel that we need to fold out of brass. And I've got my flat needle nose pliers, and we're just going to take it bit by bit, section by section, and just fold it into the shape. And really, this is a lot easier than trying to put levers into an instrument panel, I can tell you that much. So we're just going to bend bit by bit here, crease it. We have a couple of parts we need to glue down on top of this, and then this mounts then to the side framing for the cockpit. I think it's going to look pretty decent though. There's an inner flap we also need to fold down, so that might be a little tricky, but I should be able to just poke that out with my needle nose pliers, or maybe with an X-Acto knife or something, and we'll just get it all bent into shape. But yeah, that's cool. And I need to paint it black, but I'm going to do that after I've already installed it, so I don't have to hold the piece. Boy, it's a lot of photo etch, guys. Just so much. Okay, so we have the completed basic part here, and it should hang right on this section of the side console framing. And it looks pretty cool. I like it. Now we want to sand down a few of these areas here because I wanted to test fit and see how it works with the rear bulkhead. I also have the photo etch here for the headrest, and so I want to see how this works. And it looks like it fits decently. There's a little bit of kind of a burr here we need to take off with the hobby knife, so I'm going to do that off camera and get it all squared away. Okay, that's actually much better here. I just a little slice there on the side, able to get that burr off there. Now this looks pretty cool. I like how this kind of fits together. Yeah, looking good. So let's glue it. Why not, right? Let's go ahead and assemble the cockpit. I'm kind of itching to get this thing up and running. Now for cockpit colors, I'm assuming I'm going to do mostly black and then maybe dry brush with some aluminum. I don't know really what the exact colors were, but we're going to go with that. I've seen a lot of guys on the Buddy build that do black cockpits, and they look fantastic. So I don't know if this exact model would have had that, but I want to try it out, see how it looks. Worst case, I just dry brush aluminum over top of it, and we're back to normal, no problem. So we have the majority of the cockpit glued in here. I did not put on the instrument panel yet or the seat, because the seat's got a bunch of seat belts and seat cushions that I need to go ahead and make and install. And I don't want to do that quite yet. But everything else, though, looking pretty decent. So, wow, look at that. Let me zoom in for you here. So you can see, just real quick, the seat dropped right in there, and this looks really cool. I like it. Seat's not glued in, of course, because I don't want to glue it in quite yet, but everything looks really neat. I like it. Let's go ahead and pull the seat out and move on to the next section. Okay, so I'm playing around with the instrument panel, trying to get this thing to fit inside this framing, and it just doesn't. I mean, it just does not fit. It looks like the instrument panel is too wide for the actual, framing. Maybe that's just mine, I don't know, but they overhang quite a bit, and I don't like it. Plus, I don't like the levers. The levers do not look good. I have one installed, and I don't like how it looks, to be honest. So I need to do something about it, and I've got an idea. I don't know if the idea will work, but I have an idea that might look a little bit better, so let's go ahead and give it a try. All right, moment of truth. I've decided to use the kit parts, so I'm actually going to cut these off the instrument panel. Oh boy, here we go. One little snap, that comes right off, and the next area, we're going to cut that off too. The reason I'm doing this is because you can't see the levers, at least not with my eyes. You can't see them. They just turn out to be little blobs. So instead, I want to go ahead and dry brush and paint up these side consoles. And these are going to fit decently. That's the nice thing about Photo Etched. You don't have to use it because the kit parts here are actually pretty decent. Hasagawa did a good job of part moldings, and yeah, they look fantastic. So I'm going to use the side consoles that came with the model, and we're going to use them like that. A little bit of glue here, no problem. They fit right on there. And let's go ahead and put the second one on and get that all squared away. All right, the other section is on. So we actually have the Photo Etched for the main panel, and we have the kit parts for the two side panels. And this is better. I think this is going to fit. I can dry brush it. I can have fun with it, paint it up, and I think it's going to look decent enough. Now, speaking of the fuselage and the cockpit, we have inserts that we need to go ahead and fit to the tops of the fuselage. Hasagawa has designed this kit to be, used for several versions of the Typhoon, the 1A, the 1B, and there's a few little burrs we need to go ahead and slice off. Nothing major, just a little bit to clean up. And we have a little bit on the inside too, and there's actually Photo Etched parts that just glue up onto the sidewall. But there's no locating pins, so we're just going to have to use our best guess and just kind of estimate, just glue them down and hopefully call it a day. There is a sink mark in here too, but I'm not going to worry about correcting it because it should be covered by the Photo Etched. Then, of course, this whole side panel will then glue down on top of the fuselage. Already I can see there's going to be a bit of a fit issue, but we already kind of know that going in. Hasagawa does this with some of their kits. I know I built the P40 that had the same issue, but it was just the rear tail, and it was difficult to remove that seam line. This is going to be, I think, actually it might be a little easier. We'll have to see. We're going to work on it bit by bit, but this is going to fit fine. There's no huge gaps like I was worried about. There is a step if we're not too careful though. So I might install this to the fuselage and then mate the fuselages together and see if that doesn't help eliminate the panel line here. But other than that, this is going to be fine. I can really make it work. So let's go ahead and throw the Photo Etched on here and go ahead and see what we can come up with. Okay, so this is how it looks right now. Cockpit's looking good, side panels are looking good. It's decent enough. Okay, so now let's go ahead and install the Photo Etched on the other side of the fuselage. And these are actually in two parts because this is a car door version, so the car door actually swings in between the front and the back of the inserts. We're going to put a little bit of super glue on this, and it's really not that hard. There's like 2 or 3 little parts. We're going to fold them up and just glue them on. It's not a big deal. And the super glue is working fine. There is also a little bit of a sink mark on this too, but the Photo Etched are covering it up no problem, so I'm not too concerned about it. Plus, being it's in the inside of the cockpit on the top of the kind of curvature of the fuselage, you're not going to see it, so I don't know why I'm worrying too much about it. Then we're just going to get the next section here. And again, I'm just like any other Photo Etched, I'm just going to cut it out with the X-Acto knife, bend it with my needle nose or tweezers, and just stick it on. Just glue it, so it should be fine. Okay, so I've moved away from the Photo Etched for now, guys. It looks like everything is mostly done with the cockpit Photo Etched, and we're going to jump on to the front intake. It looks like 3 parts. They're not too bad. I use my flush cuts, cut these out, and then we're going to glue them down. And it's just a gigantic oil cooler. I'm assuming it's oil cooler or some sort of cooler. We got that all glued up, and I want to work on the wings too today. I wanted to get these kind of ready to go. I've done so much Photo Etched, my brain feels like it's melting out of my ears right now. So I want to move on to something a little easier. One of the things we can do is build up sub-assemblies. So we're going to take the wing and we're going to go ahead and glue the top parts of the wings on. But we do have to make a few little minor adjustments here because we are going to put some bombs on here. And there are 2 bomb racks. And we want to go ahead and poke out those holes. So I'm going to use my pin vise and just push a little bit of pressure there. And that's pretty good. This is just barely poking through. So you go ahead and do the top one here as well. Again, just a little bit of pressure. That's fine. There we go. Just a little bit of a poke through there. And we'll take our hobby knife on one of the sharper blades and the point, number 11 blade, I believe it is. Here it is. And we're just going to, stick that nose through there and just turn a little bit just to give it a bit of an opening. Because this is where the bomb racks are going to go. And we'll just have 2 bombs, so not that big of a deal. All right, everybody, now we are on the wings. I want to go ahead and glue the top part down to the bottom part of the wing. And this is fitting perfectly. I don't see really any issue. There's a little bit of a gap here with the landing light, but you shouldn't be able to see that really. Drop some glue on there and really make sure this is sticking and adhering to itself. The gun ports are a little finicky. If you push too much in the middle, it opens up the gun port areas. We don't need to do that, so we're just going to go bit by bit, section by section, and glue this sucker down. Then we'll come back, we'll do the next side, and then we should be done with the wing. Okay, so on to the horizontal stabilizers. And these are really simple parts to assemble. They're just top and bottom. My goal was to get the majority of the sub-assemblies done because next episode I want to start painting. And I want to start painting the cockpit. The cockpit itself, I've been doing some research and it looks like there's a couple different versions of what colors to use on the cockpit. A lot of guys on the Tiffy build are doing kind of a flat black. Some are doing kind of an aluminum. Some are doing the aircraft gray-green color that is actually called out for in the instructions. But I gotta tell you, I really like the look of the black cockpit. The black interior looks really cool. So I might just kind of stick with that. I do have some gray-green that I can use if I wanted to kind of try that. But I kind of wanted to try the black cockpit because that looks super cool. Really stealth, really legit. So I might just kind of go with artistic license and paint the interior cockpit black. I can't prove that it wasn't black, so we'll just keep going with it. And that's about all we're going to do for today, guys. We've been working on the wings. As you can see, the tops and bottoms are all glued together. We have the intake here that's going to fit up inside the fuselage. And let me show you where that goes right here. You can see, God, isn't that big? It's a gigantic intake. So we got that all kind of squared away. And we've had the horizontal stabilizers finished off. And then we're just let those dry. And of course we have the insert here that is going to go onto the aircraft. And that actually looks pretty cool. Let me zoom in for you. I've added that little section there, photo etched areas. It's decent looking. You can see some of the sink marks though that they shouldn't show, to be honest. It should be pretty clean. And we have the other side also with 3 photo etched boxes. Now there are some faces that go on that, some dial faces, but I'm not going to do that till I paint the actual inside. And finally, we have our instrument panel with the consoles kind of removed, and we've attached the in-kit version. I think that's going to be fine. I'm not too broken up about it because those levers, my God, they were hard. And this is the cockpit the way it stands now. It's unpainted, but we're going to come back next episode and we're going to paint this bad boy up, or at least start painting. Then we can stick on a few of the other details that we have left, like the dial faces for some of the side consoles and all of that. So tune in next time, guys, where we're going to be opening up some paint jars and starting to paint the cockpit on our Tiffy. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here next time on Ben Builds Season 4, the Tiffy Buddy Build.